Hi everyone, Julian here today. I'm going to be showing you how to make modern EBM. Almost all the drums here are synthesized. I'm going to be showing you a bunch of new techniques that I haven't shown you, that I've not seen on YouTube before. So definitely stick around to the end. As usual, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets. The entire project file and template is available at the top of the description. Definitely go grab that, guys. It's a really, really great value. You know, plus it really helps support me. I really don't make a whole lot off of YouTube, especially for all this time I put in on these videos. But with these, I can keep going and keep showing you guys new techniques like this every single day. Thank you so much for the support, guys. It also really helps support you. You know, make the best track of your life. I promise if you grab this today, you will make the best music that you've ever made in your life. This is not like a sales pitch. I've just worked really hard to make this a really high quality template for you guys. Link is at the top of the description. Thanks for the support, and let's dive in. Alright, so we're at 122 BPM. First thing we got up here is the bass synth. Now, you can see it's a pretty simple bass line, right? You know, it's really mainly working with C sharp and D across a few different octaves here, you can see. And then here, to kind of like shake it up, at the end there, it goes up to that E and the F, and then back down to D, and then the C sharp. This is an E and D there. So, you know, it's like this very simple scale, actually. Like, if you look at it musically, it would be... But you can see that's a very evil sounding scale, right? So it's good for these. Now, this sound is made using 5 layers here. So we have this first operator layer. You can see this is just a few sine waves doing some FM, creating this kind of like plucky detune thing. The first one is up a few octaves. We got a bandpass filter with a sine shaver and an envelope as well. And then we're high passing it. Then we have this layer, which is like this fat, kind of like, you know, just standard analog patch. You can see it's a square wave and a saw wave. Square wave is an octave up, detuned a little bit. Going into a low pass filter with an envelope and a bit of key tracking. So when you go up high like that, it kind of like opens the filter more and stuff. We get the amp envelope like that. And then we have a bit of vibrato and unison. The next patch is the super unison out wavetable patch. So it's a saw wave with this bit sweep. And you can see we have an envelope on the oscillator 2 position as well as on the filter frequency. And then we just have a bunch of unison. Then this. So this kind of fills out. You can see each of these layers is kind of doing like a different thing. And see how when you put them all together, it all adds up to create that big full bass sound that you're hearing, right? So this one, it's 2 saw waves and analog, a little bit detuned. And then we have a bandpass filter with an envelope and then a ton of key tracking. And that's really the name of the game with this one, because you're going around those different octaves. And it makes it really dynamic, right? We got the amp envelope like that, a bit of vibrato and unison, and then some chorus. And then the last layer here is the sub. So this is just a square wave and operator with a little bit of a low pass filter. And you can see, like, if we just play any one of these, you know, it's not quite it, but they all fit together to create this big, powerful bass. And then for the actual effects on this, so we have a low pass filter, which has the 16th note LFO, so it's like da-da-da-da. We're moving that around so you can see it like opens and closes. We have a bit of drum bus and a bit of amp, both blended, so you're still getting that dry signal. A little bit of that and a little bit of that. We got a bit of EQ, just boosting actually some mid-range, side chaining this to that side. Little click layer. We have a bass mono here with the utility, and then we're cutting out the lows between 38 hertz or below 38 hertz to get rid of any mud that would get in the way of like mastering. Then we have this pad. So this is this very dark sounding pad. It really is just two melodies. It's very simple. It's that happening, the da na na, and then at the same time. It's just the juxtaposition of those two melodies, and then also over that. See, it really helps kind of work together with what the bass line's doing. This is this operator pad where it's 3 sine waves with a bit of FM. You can see they're detuned a little bit. The second oscillator is up an octave, and then we're using a bit of an LFO on this filter here. You can see there's a low pass, and then we have an LFO on the filter cutoff. Just moving that around. Then we have a bit of chorus, a bit of reverb. We're high passing it, and then we're side chaining it. And then we get down to the synth drums. So all of these drums are synthesized, starting with these hi-hats. So it's 4 layers. It's this one, which is just like a bit of white noise in operator with a high pass on it. And then these 3, which kind of all fit together to do one thing. Right, so it's like this one. Just like a nice bright high-end noise. This one, which is more of like a short, punchy one with a bandpass filter and a hard shaper plus an envelope. And then this one just adds even more punch, with just a little bit of white noise. They're all made with that noise, but it's just little different things, and then they all come together and make that one really full hi-hat. This, on the group, we have a bit of corpus, actually. There's without that, and with it. It can really help with these synthy hi-hats to kind of like make them feel more metallic and like live. We have a little bit of drum bus as well being blended, and then a high-pass filter. Then we have the kick. So this is 2 layers of operator. The first one, and then the second one, which you can hear just adds a little bit more click. And it's just like layering with kick samples, right? Like you would have one that would probably be like your main kick. And then if you just want a little bit more click, then that second layer comes in. So with this, it's all about 2 different kind of envelope things. The first thing is going to be the volume envelope of your main oscillator. So this is just sine waves doing a little bit of FM inside of operator. But if you look at the envelope of the first oscillator, it has like a lot more of that hold. You just turn the initial up and then turn up the attack, and then you get this like longer held out thing. And that works really well for a kick, but then also on the pitch envelope, you can see it's kind of a similar thing. Like it's not just like straight down. Like we get rid of the attack. See, having a little bit more of like that held out attack is giving it a lot more punch. And then we're just cutting out some sub from that below 30 hertz. And then the click layer is really similar, honestly. It's just slightly different with the oscillators to just make it a bit clickier. But it's still really similar because you don't want these to be too different or you'll get phasing issues. And then there's no effects on the group. That is just clean out of operator. Then we have the synth snare. So this one's made with 2 layers. It's this, kind of like the body of the snare, and then the noise part. So for the body of the snare, it's a sine wave, which is a bit of FM from another sine wave, like the tiniest bit, and then a high-pass filter with a soft shaper turned up all the way, plus a bit of a pitch envelope. Kind of like that same thing I was talking about with the kick, where you can see you let it be like a little bit of a longer attack. And then we're high passing it. And that's actually important. See, without that. And then with it. And for the actual snare, if you don't high pass that. See, it's a little thing. Plus it makes it fit better with the kick. And then for the noise layer. So it's a bit of white noise here, but you'll see with this one, there's a little bit of an attack. So it's kind of like into it. So you get like this one hitting right on the note. And then see how the noise slightly like like a little bit after it. So there you go. That's a secret to creating a snare with synthesis. Is one layer, that's the body of the snare, which is right on the hit, and then the noise layer, which is slightly after the hit. This has a high pass on it, plus this sort of like band pass here with this EQ8. We're turning down a little bit of high end with the EQ3. We've got a bit of reverb, and then on the snare group, it's a bit of drum bus, a bit of overdrive, and then a high pass. So if I turn off the distortion, you'll see that actually is important for this. Like even if we turn it all the way up, you can see that overdrive and the drum bus combo is what really makes it like actually work as a snare. And also the high pass. Then we have these toms. You see, just a little fills in there. This is just going to a bit of reverb and an amp, and we're also high passing that a little. And then this one has reverb and an overdrive. To just give it some texture. We have another little like atmospheric drum here, which is actually the synth clap. This is a clap that I completely synthesized. And the secret to this is it looks like a lot of layers. It's these 5 layers of operator. They're all really similar though. It's literally just white noise with like either a low pass or a band pass filter with a really short envelope. See what I mean? They're all really similar. And then basically, the way a clap works, like if I pull up like a 909 clap here, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's sort of like you have a hit and then you have all these little like kind of hits after it. Like see how in the 909 clap there's that first hit, and then there's this hit, and then there's this hit, and then there's this one. So we're basically just recreating that by having all these little things that are like just a tiny, like one little hit. But then I'm using this align here on, this is like one of the Ableton 11 things where you can like move, basically you can like delay a sound forward or backward a little bit. And so when you get all those little hits and delay them slightly, there you go, you get a clap. It does like a similar thing. So we've got all those doing that, going into a bit of reverb and some overdrive and drum bus, which really like bring out the reverb, because you want this is meant to be like this big reverbed out hit, right? And then we just have a high pass filter. And the last thing down here is just this little effects. Just with some high pass, delay, and side chaining. But that just adds like a kind of nice like breath at the start of every 4 bars or something. And yeah, so that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video, as well as subscribe. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, the entire template from this video, all the synthesized drums, and all of that is available at the top of the description. Definitely go grab that. It's a really great deal. For just $5, you get one of the best EBM templates on the market. I promise if you grab this today, it'll really help you take your tracks to the next level. Thank you so much for the support, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.